Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 13 of the Journey with Janey podcast. I am your host, Jane Anderson, and I am back in the office today. I have been away traveling and training for the past 2 weeks, and I was so looking forward to being outside recording for you this morning. And unfortunately, it's extremely windy. I tried everything. So you have the view of my office if you are watching. If you are listening, I hope that the audio is good for you guys. And yeah, let's get cracking. As I said, I have just returned from 2 very busy weeks. The first week I was away training in Northern Ireland, in Belfast, with my fellow Dynamite delegates, who are all affiliated to Kim Calvert, who is the #1 in self-development in the world. She was also Bob Proctor's #1 consultant. And wow, 4 days of awesome energy, learning and growth, and I look forward to sharing some of this with you in the weeks to come. I made some amazing new connections whilst we were there, some of our delegates flying in from all over the world, so it was a very worldwide room full of people, and that was absolutely amazing, all on one mission: to waken people up one thought at a time. And there were so many takeaways from that week, and I'm sure that'll get sort of trickled into what I talk about in the coming weeks. So yeah, let's get to the Journey with Janey podcast kind of thing, though, because you haven't tuned in to hear about my travels. Although that's partly why I jumped on and decided to talk about the travels a little bit, because for me that was a big thing. For all, I'd done a lot of solo traveling when I was younger. It was a big step for me to start and travel on my own, as obviously once I got married, had children, we'd always traveled as a family or as a couple. So that was a big kind of step for me to feel comfortable traveling on my own. And I think the plus side of traveling to Belfast to see the team is the fact that you know you're going to be amongst friends when you get there. But it also has given me the boost that actually I can do this myself. I can hop on a plane and travel the world. It wasn't without pain. Obviously, the connections with Northern Ireland, that was one of the last places that Jonathan and I went on a holiday with friends. So the connection was there when Kim was doing training and things in Belfast. So that was almost easier, knowing that I was kind of going to a place where Jonathan and me had spent time together. But I think for me, the growth that I've had over the past 2 and a bit years, and actually going inside and feeling comfortable inside and being able to hop on the plane, jump in a car and actually go and meet people. Some people who you may not have met for a long time and have always met as a couple or as a family. That's always going to be, the first time will always be difficult. I'm not going to take anything away from that, because everything that we do for the first time is difficult. As obviously as a widow myself, it's all the firsts, and actually the belief in yourself that the firsts don't have to be difficult. you can switch that. And yeah, that's all part of the mentorship stuff that I've done and the learning. So actually believing in yourself, that it doesn't have to be as difficult as you think it is. I know I've discussed thoughts, feelings, and actions. They're all linked. And it's all to do with our conscious and subconscious mind. And a lot of things we do are on automatic, which is all in the subconscious mind. So we automatically think that things will be difficult. And I'm just going from personal experience, because it's what people tell you. Oh, the firsts are all difficult, the birthdays are all difficult, the anniversaries are all difficult. Yes, they may be difficult, but if you switch it to honouring the person that has died and actually sending love to the people who are telling you it's difficult, and believing in yourself that actually I get to do this, I get to celebrate and honour my loved one on whatever particular day. And that was I want to say game changer, but that sounds a bit like it's a bit of a, a game. Well, to be fair, mindset is a bit of a game, because we're actually switching our thoughts so that we can, our thoughts and feelings, so that we can be that better person. I'm not saying we forget, we never forget. And I'm not saying grief disappears, because grief is always there. And grief will always be with us. We will never lose that grief within our body. But we can grow so the grief gets smaller, and we can actually live the life that we want to live. So as usual, I've gone off on a bit of a tangent, but that was linking into we can switch our thoughts. We have a very powerful mind, and learning the techniques to actually change those thoughts are huge. And that's why I'm here doing what I'm doing, so people become more aware of how we can live our life by design and how we want to live it. So yeah, getting back home after 2 weeks in the city, back into the hills of Northumberland, was absolutely amazing. As you all know, I love being outside. I love being connected to nature, and I love how much nature can teach us. And I'm super excited, because when I got home, we actually have some lambs. So spring has sprung in the hills of Northumberland, and the calves are arriving thick and fast too. So once the wind drops, I'm going to go out and get some video of the lambs and the calves, because I know some of you are farmers who are listening and viewing. But it's always nice for people who aren't from farming background to get a little bit of understanding. And I'm sure I've mentioned before that I always think of this time of year as the start of the year. So for me, Q2 of the year is like my Q1. So mission ready, Q plans all in place. So I am ready for action. Just like those little lambs who have been welcomed into the world and are off running around the fields. And yeah, it's nature at its best. So the daffodils are just starting to flower here in the north. I know many of you have been showing me pictures of daffodils from weeks ago. But mine are just starting to come out in the garden. So yeah, for me, when I arrived home, I was like, oh yes, I need to get the dogs out. I need to be out in fresh air. And I must say, when after the training, I travelled south to Southern Ireland with 2 of the ladies who were on the training. And to see green fields, it was like my heart was full. And well, weirdly enough, I know our mind is very powerful, and our bodies react to the emotions that are within us. I had been quite bloated, is the only way I can describe it, or when your fingers all swell up after you've flown. And I noticed the whole time I was in Belfast that it was a struggle to get my rings on my fingers and things. And as soon as we hit the green fields driving south, and I could see nature, I could see the water, the lakes. We got out and had a little wander along a lakeside, and I got back into the car and I was like, oh, wow, get this. I could slip the rings off my fingers, no problem. So that just shows how our body is automatically affected by the emotions that we feel, the thoughts and the feelings within our body create what our body does. So our body is the engine of the mind. So no, the mind is the engine of the body. So that we need to get the mind right. So I suppose that was a learning curve for me, so that next time I'm in the city, it's going to be a challenge to see if I can actually think about being in the hills, being at home, walking the dogs, using that as a picture with inside my mind, so that it actually doesn't affect me as much. So yes, that was a bit of a revelation that actually, yeah, what we think about comes about. So we need to be very aware of what we are thinking and how we can be the person we want to be. So I was home for all of 36 hours, and I hopped in a car to drive south in the UK. Something I haven't done for many, many years is a long motorway drive. Now, in the past, I would have had the tunes playing. I would have had, anything on the or listen to the radio in case there might have been an accident, Anyway, I used that time while I was driving to actually listen to audios from Kim. So that was a bit of a kind of like a revelation for me, that I'd switched my thoughts to actually I can use that time while I'm driving to learn and grow. So it's understanding how we can prioritize things or shift our schedules and learn how to be more productive with the time. Because in the past, I would have spent 5.5 hours in the car listening to music and listening to the news, and probably being affected by what was going on with the news, because with our senses, we do soak in from the environment, which I think I've touched on a little bit before. So yeah, anyway, I was traveling down to meet up with a group of friends who we haven't all been together for 20 plus years. And similar to the traveling solo, the last time we were all together, Jonathan was there as my husband, and everybody was so welcoming. Everybody shared happy memories. There was not one word of, oh, it must be so hard, Jane. And, I had been writing about how it was going to be such a wonderful weekend. Everybody would share their memories. So I had already written about how I wanted it to be. And my heart was full. I have to say, I thoroughly enjoyed my weekend. And yes, I missed Jonathan, but I knew he was there with me. And I wouldn't be here talking to you guys, trying to help you and serve you, doing this, without the loss of Jonathan. And this is my purpose, is to be here to serve you and to help you take those small steps to start a new chapter in your life, if that's what you want to do. You have to be ready to take those small steps, though. It's fine me talking about these things on the podcast and going, yeah, you can do this, 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 and this. But to be fair, if you just want to have a duvet day, don't worry about it. That's fine. But we can do more, is all I'm saying. But you have to be ready to take those little steps. I was guided by somebody to take those little steps, as you all know. And I think for me, it was all the accumulation of the whole fortnight of being away with my Dynamite family, my friends in Southern Ireland, and probably the young farmers, was the realization that the old me that was in that room 20 plus years ago when we were sitting on the International Young Farmers Committee is back, but a newer version. And yeah, that made me smile. And it also made me smile, the fact that the room of 14 of us and how powerful we all are. None of us at 20 knew where we were going or what we were going to do. But the bond was there, and it always will be. It was like we'd seen each other yesterday. So it's surrounding yourself with the people who understand you, the people who care for you, and the people who can help you. And having a great support network is key to those simple steps to finding you, being you, and taking that little step. So this is episode 13, and I just quickly have to say that when I saw it was episode 13, because I hadn't really thought about it, where we're up to, Jonathan's hated the number 13. And a little story: my first solo travel was on a swimming holiday to Turkey, and when I arrived, I was handed the room number 13, and the lady who gave me the key must have looked and seen my face and said, "Oh, is that a problem?" And at that moment I thought, actually, no, it isn't a problem. 13 was not my thoughts. I was taking on Jonathan's thoughts that 13 was an unlucky number. So from that day, 13 has just been a number. And yeah, anyway, that's a little story that we all have these habits and beliefs that's instilled into us as we grow up. And I had taken on Jonathan's habits and beliefs that 13 was an unlucky number. So no more for me. 13 is now my lucky number, and a number that I'm not frightened to be associated with. And probably on that note, I should sign off for this episode and say, always remember, there's something inside of you that knows no limits, and it's time to believe in you. Thank you all for joining me on the Journey with Janey podcast. Always remember, there is something within you that knows no limits. It's time to believe in you. Click the subscribe button so you never miss an episode. I love reading your reviews and comments, so right away. So if you're ready to take those small steps to transform your true self, let's do life together.